that we think of as we're talking on the circuit. It's going to be from a very methodical plan to build leaders, to build people in the system that start to look at New Brunswick and say, I can be part of that team, I can make that happen, and I want to do that. Now, why do I look at this in a different light? I spent 33 years in a very demanding career, one that required better performance each and every day to stay employed. One that every day you were measured by what you achieved the day before, and that only carried you to come to work the next morning. And so you just kept doing that and getting better every day. And the opportunity was real. When I got into government and I thought, how is this so different than what I'd seen previously? Well, firstly, we never had success unless everybody in the system were pulling on the same rope. They were part of a solution. They were bringing ideas to the table. And you never get results if that isn't the case. And so what do we see in government? We see disengaged employees that are disillusioned by the change in priorities, the change in shifting moods, the change in how we look at things. The same thing, only differently, because of a headline. We need to develop a long-term sustainable path forward, and we were doing that. We had more than ever created a team that the culture was shifting. We had people every day coming in and helping us with ideas. We'd introduced a whole new process. It was so encouraging to see people 30, 35 years in the system that would come with a new idea. And you know what you didn't say? Have you been doing this for 25 years? No, you didn't say that. You said, that's great. Now let's go for the next one. And you kept doing that because people want to be part of this province. And they want to be part of helping us get there. And what's different from where I came from and what I see in government? We all have the same priority. When we're dealing with labor issues and things in the private sector, yeah, it's about employment, it's about getting better benefits. But in the public sector, it's about better health care, better education, better social services, better systems that we all want together. So why can't we get aligned? We can't get aligned because we don't build the teams, we invent the solutions. We were building a plan, a program. And you know what that program would have meant and what was meaning? It would have meant we wouldn't have had an HST July 1st because we didn't need it. We were $200 million under the third year, $200 million again in the fourth year. The system was working. And how was it working? Because people were helping us get there. And they owned it. It was the saddest experience that I've had for a long time when I walked out of there after losing the election. Because we were a team. And our team was getting stronger. So why am I doing this at this point? I want to get the team back. I want to get back on the track that we were on. I want to make things happen that we know can happen. But you've got to build sustainability in the system. You've got to build structure into the system so it doesn't all get thrown out as soon as the next government comes along. Because that's what's happening in this province. Everything gets thrown out just because it was the last party. So why, after 40 years, are we still talking about language issues? Why aren't we graduating more than 70% of our kids without being functional, fully functional in the second language? What have we done for the last 40 years that has got us in that position? Why is our literacy rate the lowest in the country, or second lowest in the country? Poverty reduction, we've been talking about it forever. But how have we improved? And how do we measure that success? And waiting times in hospitals. It just continues to be a dialogue, not a solved problem. You get solutions by being accountable for your results, by not afraid to stand up and talk about real issues. And I think I've proven that over the last 6 years, and particularly while in government. We dealt with real issues. And you know, the more you did it, and the more you led by example, the more people got on side and said, I want to be part of that. And we did that in our own group no more than in the case of pension reform, where we adopted the very same plan as every other public sector worker. And people said, I can't believe you did that. Well, we lead by example. And that's what brings people along to help us with the solutions. And that's the only way it'll come along. This government, we set up an accountability program to drive visible, measured performance. We talk about the loans and grants and talking about getting control of that. We were doing that. We dropped the losses from 50 million down to zero. Now, why is that important? Because it allows us to put better money into those social programs that I'm talking about. That's why it's important. So for me, it's not about starting at ground zero. It's not about trying to get another 2 or 3 years to figure out where I need to go. It's about picking the ball up that this government has thrown out into the court, but we can find it. I can find it because I know where it was. And I know the plan we were on, and I know how to get back on it, and I need your support to get there. Thank you very much.